swear to God, this construction. Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing well. Quick disclaimer before I get on into this video. There is so much construction at literally every corner of my building right now. It's behind my building, it's in front of my building, and now it's right outside my front door. So if you hear any drilling, if you hear any loud bangs, any sawing, that is what that is. I do apologise. I don't really have anywhere else to film. I was really debating going up into my attic to film this video, but it's too cold. For this week's video, I thought it would be nice just to do a really chilled chit chat video with you guys. So I asked you guys over my Instagram to ask me any questions, things you want to know about me, about fitness, about my life, about my job. So before we head on into the video, it's a really cold morning. I strongly suggest go and grab a cup of tea, or if you're watching this in the evening, a glass of wine if you drink that, maybe like some crisps or some fruit, like whatever you fancy it. So some of these questions are quick fire and some also warrant an explanation as well. So first question, I have answered this in a previous video, but when did you start going to the gym? And when do you think is a good time to start going? So the first half of that question, when I started going to the gym, it was around 5.5, 6 years ago now. I started going sort of after I went through a really bad patch with my health, and I just really craved to be stronger. I was very weak. I don't know, I have a form of COPD, so it was really bad in my late teens, and I just wanted to go to the gym and I wanted to feel something. I wanted to feel powerful. There were so many times in that period where I felt inadequate, very weak, and also just like I was missing out on a lot. I started going about 5-6 years ago, and I started going to just a pure gym, so just a commercial gym, and I absolutely loved it. I had no idea what I was doing. I was hopping between cardio machine, I had a resistance band that honestly lived around the top of my knees. But I feel like those early years in training really shaped me and really sort of humble me now, because it reminds me that I exactly started somewhere. I don't think there's ever a perfect time. You know, you can swat up and read all the books that you like about going to the gym, but take this as your sign if you're watching this now. Just start today. Starting was the best thing I ever did for myself. I remember when my mom first said to me, like, why don't you try going to the gym and like, let's go together, we'll get a PT. And I was thinking, absolutely not. Like, I can't yet, I don't know enough. But just start. There's never gonna be a perfect time. You're never gonna learn unless you do. So yeah, just start. There's no perfect time. So someone else asked, how do you deal with people that just don't get fitness? I think it's like anything, like, not everyone's going to always get everything that you do, right? So whether that be what you study, whether that be your hobby, like whatever it is, not every single person is going to relate to it. I think with people who don't get fitness, you can just try and educate them, but at the end of the day, just do you, because you're not doing it for anyone else's understanding. You're doing it for the purpose of your benefit and your self-growth. I think I've been at several points in my life in the past 5 years, but more so the past 2 years, where obviously the pandemic's happened. There's a drilling again. And I found that fitness was really my vice, and other people found other vices during that time that I couldn't relate to, and I still don't relate to now. But I'd never shed judgment. I just get on, do me, and do what makes me happy. And if anyone ever tries to make you feel bad about prioritizing your health, your fitness, and your well-being over other areas in your life that you maybe don't put as much priority or emphasis on, then they're probably not the kind of people that you want in your life, especially when you're on those sort of self-growth periods and you're trying to get into the things that make you feel better. So someone else asked, how did you decide to start your page on Instagram? So I started my page around 3 years ago now. It was when I actually met Aaron. I was going to the gym before I met him, and he taught me a lot sort of about strength and hypertrophy training, and he really broke down some of the barriers about females training in the gym that I had actually built up myself years before I met him. He kind of saw how passionate I was about training and learning. He said, Meg, why don't you start tracking your own progress? Like, it doesn't have to be a public thing. You could make a little private Instagram and basically start posting pictures for your own accountability. So I made it and I was sort of posting check-in, and then it kind of got to the point where I felt confident with what I was doing, and I was like, do you know what, I really enjoyed this. And I'd let people follow me, and I kind of told a few of my friends and family about it, and my neighbour just texted me saying how annoyed she was with the drilling. Me and you both, sister. And then I'd say it was maybe like 5 months before the first lockdown of the pandemic, I made my page public, and I thought, do you know what, I really am enjoying what I'm doing. I'm learning so much, and I'm helping my friends and I'm helping my family. Why not widen my circle a little bit? Like, what do I have to lose? I've never really been someone who cared what a lot of people think. Of course, I had the inspiration of people who were sort of profound in the social media fitness industry, and I took a lot of inspiration from them. And then obviously with the pandemic, it kind of just took off, really. So someone else has asked, do you still work in your full-time job? If not, what do you do now? So no, if you've been following me or watching any of my previous videos, you may know that I actually left my full-time corporate banking job in end of October, beginning of November. So I actually left that job when I deemed it comfortable and deemed it appropriate and best interest for my future and my career steps to pursue what I'm doing now full time. So now I am a full-time content creator, which I'm still coming to terms with actually grasping and being able to tell people that it's a new age job, isn't it, really? So it's very difficult to try and explain to people, especially older people, but I always find that when I do explain it and explain what I do now and why I left my job, I always get a really good response. So yeah, as a full-time content creator now, I do work with two absolutely incredible brands as Honor Active and Women's Best, and I'm incredibly passionate about what they're trying to achieve and the direction that they're both going in, and I'm ever so grateful every single day for the opportunity to learn alongside them. Someone asked, how do I film videos in my gym? My gym is so dark. Definitely if you have a dark gym, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. I actually now film videos on my camera, and my gym's actually quite light downstairs. Upstairs is horrifically dark. However, if you film on your iPhone and you are in a really dark gym, let me show you what you can do. You can actually tap the screen, and then there's a little sun, I don't know if you can see, and you can make it super bright or super dark. So if you're filming on your phone and the lighting's a bit like that, you can use that to adjust it. Do I have any holidays booked for 2022? Yes, I do. I'm actually going away next month with my dad's side of the family. So we're all going to Dubai, and it's so nice. We haven't had a family holiday in really long. And I've also got a wedding in Vienna where my family live. I think this one's probably asking for a bit of advice if I have been. But someone's asked, have you ever been in a toxic relationship? I think I was in a relationship when I was very young, and I learned an awful lot from it. I think the relationship taught me a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about my perception of my self-worth, and my experiences in that relationship definitely shaped the kind of person I am in a relationship today. And I'd say only in the past year, 2 years, I'm just kind of coming to terms with how my previous relationships potentially affected that part of my being, if that makes sense. So no, it wasn't a toxic relationship. It was a very immature relationship, upon retrospect, that gave me a lot of experience. It gave me a lot of friends, but I did learn an awful lot from it. I would say if you're in a toxic relationship, the first thing you need to do is be totally and utterly self-aware, because if you're not self-aware, then you're not actively recognizing and working on the things you can improve on. A relationship is absolutely a partnership. You have to be honest. You can't kind of defer the blame onto someone else all the time when things go wrong. Someone's asked, do you get anxious when you walk into the gym? And this also relates to another question with someone asking, how do you deal with gym anxiety? I would say, on the whole, no, I don't really anymore. I say sometimes when I go to the gym after I've had sort of a very overwhelming anxiety-filled day, then potentially I will, especially if the gym is absolutely heaving, or if I go at a time that is not when I usually go and I see all the regular faces and kind of thing. But on the whole, I recognise that I'm there because I deserve to be there, and I'm there doing my own thing like everyone else is. So there's no need to overthink my position being in that gym at that time. But I do appreciate that when you are a beginner, and I can definitely speak of this from experience, a gym is a very, very overwhelming and intimidating setting. First tip I would strongly recommend is get a workout friend. And when I first started going to the gym, I went with my mum, and we had a right crack. Like, we pushed each other, we learned so much together. So if you have someone to train with, 100% grab them when you go to the gym. I know some gyms also have like more quiet areas to them. I know my gym actually has a ladies area. If there's quiet areas in the gym that you can go just to get comfortable with sort of the exercises that you're doing, the environment that you're in, stick to those for a little bit, but don't rule out the other areas, you know. You deserve to be absolutely everywhere in that gym, like every other man and woman does as well. It takes time, it's not going to happen overnight, and it does get better with knowledge and experience. So work on those things, grab a friend if you can, stick to a workout plan, follow your favourite fitness influencers online who can offer you as much guidance and knowledge as possible, and I promise you it will get better over time. Someone's asked, build a dream home in the mountains or by the beach? 100 million % by the beach. Who's more affectionate in your relationship? Honestly, it 110% depends on how busy the other person is. I used to actually hate people touching me, hugging me. When I was younger, if someone said goodbye to me, I'd literally have anxiety about hugging them or them kissing me. But I think Aaron's changed me, I won't lie. Now I sound like a melt. So next question. How did you know it was the right time to go full-time as an online creator? This is a really good question. Let me just put into perspective. 1 whole year before I left my job, I wasn't getting fulfillment 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. I literally did what I had to do. I enjoyed it, but I knew where my heart was. I'm a very, very creative person, so sitting in front of a computer, sort of analysing articles and crunching numbers and stuff like that, that was one side of my personality, but my creative side of my personality, like 100%. Overpowered it. And I was thinking to myself time and time again, oh, imagine if I could just do this full time. Imagine if I could just leave my job and this be my life, because I really enjoyed it, and it wasn't realistic at the time whatsoever. I hadn't invested enough time, enough money, enough brain space into it. I was still kind of struggling to balance a social life with work life, with my content creating, and it was challenging. But I knew I'd know when the time was to go full-time at it. You have to think sensibly as well. Like, I had to be in a financially stable position where I didn't rely on anyone or necessarily on my income from banking. And then I was also in the last few months really struggling with my mental health. I didn't really speak about this much, but I would cry like a few times a week, and I'm a very mentally strong person. I'm very emotionally strong. I don't really cry very often. And I recognised immediately that what I was doing and my Monday to Friday and me living for the weekends, I wasn't happy, and I didn't have to be unhappy anymore. So yeah, I took the plunge, and I just knew when it was time. I was burnt out, and I pushed until I was burnt out, and then that was it. I just made the call, and it was the right time, 100%. So if you're struggling with your job and you're wanting to be someone, do something else, just make sure you're putting in the legwork to get there. You can't be sort of impulsive and irrational, because unfortunately this world doesn't work like that. You have to put in the time, put in the effort, and I promise you it will pay off, and you will know when the right time is. Someone else has asked, how have you been recently and what keeps you looking forward? I have been absolutely bang on my training, my nutrition, how I feel about myself externally. I think I feel the best I've ever felt. However, this just goes to show that no matter how much work you put in at the gym, no matter how well you eat, no matter how happy you are with how you look, it's not everything. So more recently, I have learned about myself that I actually incredibly struggle with my confidence and sense of self-belief. And at the moment, I'm kind of learning how I can improve that. You know, as I said earlier, being self-aware, I'm recognizing that I'm really struggling with my confidence, that kind of so much happened in 2021 in my life. I left my job, my family moved away, my social circle became a lot smaller. I got two incredible opportunities with 2 companies that I now work with exclusively. My life changed a lot, and I feel like I'm still doing the legwork to kind of meet the person and the roles and the responsibilities that I have right now, and that's totally fine. I'm learning more about what my job requires and that I need to be a more confident, self-assured person, but that comes with experience and with knowledge. So yeah, I feel like I'm going through a bit of a self-realization at the moment, and I'm being constructively critical about myself, but it's causing me to learn. Like, I'm reading a lot more books at the moment about self-confidence, self-esteem and development, but I'm learning to push through those barriers, and instead of dwelling on what I'm not, I have to focus on what I am and how I can push myself to be the person and identity that I want to be. And that is exactly what keeps me looking forward. You know, I feel like you can never tell what's just around the corner, but I feel like if I'm constantly trying to improve myself and being self-aware of my limitations and my weaknesses and trying to build on those, then the only way can be up with whatever is around the corner, if that makes sense. Okay, so final question to end on. I think this is quite a good one to end on because it's a little bit more personal, and sort of at the beginning of the year, I think it's kind of nice to address. Someone has asked me, what are your current fitness/nutrition goals? I'm not usually someone who lives by goals. I think goals can be very, very overwhelming. I like little milestones, I like to call them, as I like to hit, and there's definitely things I have in mind that I want to do, but especially when it comes to aesthetic goals, I don't really have, I mean, we all want to look a certain way, of course, like we all have that preference for ourselves, but I wouldn't say I'm driven anymore by an aesthetic goal. I used to want to look a certain way. At the moment, I just want to get stronger, and however that comes out in my physicality, so be it. I just want to like feel my healthiest and my best. So for example, like I'm going on holiday next month, and I'd say up until the end of last year when I went on holiday, it would be like, right, 6-week cut before holiday because I need to be slim and shredded on that beat. And now, like, I'm currently in a calorie surplus and I am going on holiday in a month's time and I'm gonna be wearing bikinis, but I'm feeling strong and I'm feeling better than I ever had. So I'm not gonna swap that feeling for just to look a certain way because I'm in a bikini and I'm on a beach, you know? So I'm less driven by aesthetic goals now. Of course, whatever comes as a byproduct of what I'm doing and how I'm feeling is great. It is what it is. And it is for sure motivating, and I get that self-motivation from myself. But more so at the moment, I'm really, really focusing on my mind because I've realized that that is actually a more powerful thing. I'm focusing on building my confidence, my sense of self-worth, how my gut feels. I've struggled with gut health quite a lot, so I'm just learning what foods work for me and kind of learning that when I am on track nutritionally, I feel my best, like from the inside out. So yeah, they're like my fitness and nutrition goals, basically. Train as hard as I can, get as strong as I can and as strong as I want to be, and eat for fuel, for purpose, and just to feel my happiest, healthiest self, really. So I think I have actually answered quite a few questions there. I've opened up about a few things that I probably haven't spoken about before as well. So I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. You found it a bit more personable from me. If you do want to see more Q&As from me, maybe some juicy ones, maybe some more kind of focused ones, whether that be on my career or maybe on my fitness journey, then be sure to leave them in the comments below. But I really, really hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, hit that like button down below and don't forget to subscribe if you are new here to see future videos from me. Thank you so, so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. See you later.